All right, check out who and what just showed up at my house here.
Brought to you in part by Alpine Toyota.
This is Max Powell's Land Cruiser, and ever since he's got it, he's had issues with it.
Yeah, we got it like a week before Christmas. It was my wife's Christmas present. It's the first car she's ever shown like genuine interest in owning. So I was like, we gotta have it. Got it, we drove it to my mom's on Christmas, and the transmission blew up, and it was just this big, terrible. We had Vietnamese hot dogs for Christmas dinner. It was awful. And then, of course, we ran into all the issues in the U.S. of not being able to find parts or anyone that's competent in working on these. So Clinton reached out, and here we are.
Yeah, so I reached out to one of my buddies who deals with a lot of the Land Cruiser stuff, and he happened to have literally everything Max needed and a spare motor, and for a really good deal. Now we're here, so we are going to put a tranny and transfer case in this thing, get it back on the road, and then possibly go out for a bit of exploring. Alright, so we're still working on getting this Land Cruiser into my shop. We used a winch to actually pull it back here, and then we tried to push it forward by hand, and I realized that it is just way too hard to move this, or way harder to move this than it should be. After some investigation, I jacked it up, noticed that that wheel was actually stuck with the brakes on. Yeah, we're doing some investigation. Hopefully we can get this wheel to spin freely. Alright, so good news. It was, in fact, just the e-brake stuck on both sides. Max has had to hammer back the little lever that engages when you pull the e-brake, and now both sides spin freely. We've moved it like almost 10 feet, just us now. Yeah. Yeah, we move it one person now, as it should be. So here's the game plan. We got the FJ62 in the shop, and now we've got this big old transmission and transfer case to throw in it, which I've noticed is a lot bigger and heavier than like the Toyota pickup stuff that I'm used to dealing with. So this should be a challenge.
It's because Land Cruisers are just so tough, you know.
They're just so tough.
Okay, I'm going down. I'm entering. In we go.
Oh, dude, this thing barely fits under here.
It might not, bro.
The exhaust in the way? Do we need to go down?
Yeah. Oh, what is that?
Well, pants.
I don't know if she's gonna fit.
Oh, she will if I lift. Pivot. There we go. Not even that bad. Oh, it could be. Oh, it's got a skid plate on it. We're good to drag it.
Oh,
We're not even hurting anything.
yeah. It's good for us.
Yeah, it is good for it. Wow, this is actually really push it up. Okay, and then we're ready to move it up.
No way. All right. Dude, it's stinky under here. It smells like Bigfoot's dick.
Bigfoot's dick. Oh!
It's
Oh. If you guys want to see a complete video with a lot more detail on how the transmission swap went on Max's FJ62, make sure you head over to his channel and check out his video. I'm not actually too sure when his video is going to be up, but it's linked in the description below. Alright, so here's the deal. As you guys know from the last couple of videos on this truck, I put a standalone ECU and wiring harness to run the 1UZ swap. And hey, that's been working great, except for one small issue. The idle. As you can see, look how low it's idling. Ideally, I'd like it to be up around here-ish. And it really only idles this low when it's not up to running temperature. But once it reaches running temperature, the idle comes right up to where it needs to be, or where I want it. And in the past couple of videos, I did show you guys cold starts with this thing, where the idle appeared to be perfect. And the reason for that is this idle screw right here on the throttle body. With the old stock dying ECU that I had with the 1UZ, I actually had to have that idle screw adjusted up so that it would actually even idle. And on the cold starts that I've shown in previous videos, it was still turned up. But what I didn't show and what I didn't know at the time was when it got up to running temperature, the idle actually came up even higher, which then set the idle for this thing when it's at running temperature in the turned up position at like 2200 RPM, and that is not anywhere near what I want. And one of the main benefits to even having a standalone ECU is tuning. So let's plug the laptop in, let's look at the computer, let's see if we can adjust where the idle is at certain temperatures. Not gonna lie, I actually have no idea what I'm doing. So for those that are curious, here's what the Spitronics software actually looks like when it is on and the ECU is connected. Over here you will see the real-time stats on what the engine is doing. You can see the water temperature there, the RPM, the map sensor, what it's reading. And it's not actually running, so you don't see the injector information and the timing. But when it is running, that stuff will show. So here we're on the device information page. Go down to ECU setup. Here, I guess, is where the tuning begins. Now, I'm not going to pretend I know exactly what everything means here. Honestly, it's above my head. I bought this harness and ECU as a plug-and-play setup, and that's what I planned on using. Here you can see what devices or what sensors are actually connected, and really the only thing I did actually touch was the RPM limits. As you can see here, if the engine is less than 60 degrees, the rev limiter is 3800, and the rev limiter when it's up to temperature is 6000. But yeah, if we go to the top here, you can open up timing graph, fuel graph here, and then water graph. Now if I had to guess, this is what I need to adjust to get the idle correct where I want it, adjust the fuel and timing, but it's a little above my head. All right, so I sort of found a happy medium. As you can see, it is at 62 degrees there, and if we look at the water chart here, it shows that there is no more adjustments after about 60 degrees. So the 1200 RPM that it shows here will be the highest that it will idle. And as I was saying on the laptop, is I did feel a little over my head trying to like fudge with those numbers there. So all I did again was adjust the idle screw here until I found a happy medium, something that would actually idle decent when it's cold. Well, I haven't tested like freezing temperatures yet, but it idles decently while it's cold, and then it doesn't get too high when it's up to running temperature. Anyways, guys, that about wraps up this week's episode of Dirt Garage. I hope you enjoyed it. If any of you guys are tuners and can actually help me out tuning this ECU for this truck, that would be great. Leave a comment or just hit me up on Instagram or something. That would be awesome. Anyways, guys, if you do me a huge favor and smash that thumbs up button, and hey, consider subscribing. I upload weekly, mostly weekly, Toyota building, wheeling, and off-roading content. Anyways, I'll see you next week. Peace.